Most people are not defeated by life. They are defeated by the condition of their own mind. The greatest battles you will ever fight will not happen in public spaces, on big stages, or in front of loud enemies. They will happen silently, privately, inside your own thinking. And the tragedy is this: many people lose those battles every single day without ever realizing that their mind was the battlefield. You were never designed to be controlled by circumstances. You were designed to command them. But when the mind is weak, everything else follows. A weak mind bows to pressure. A weak mind surrenders to fear. A weak mind negotiates with doubt. And a weak mind will always look for permission before it moves. That is why people live beneath their potential, not because opportunity is missing, but because mental authority is absent. A strong mind does not ask life for approval. A strong mind does not wait for applause. A strong mind does not panic when conditions change. It understands something powerful. Nothing external has the right to dominate what was built to lead. When your mind is strong, chaos cannot control you. When your mind is disciplined, pressure cannot break you. When your mind is focused, distractions lose their power over you. Most people are exhausted not because they are doing too much, but because their mind is undisciplined. Their thoughts are scattered. Their focus is divided. Their attention is everywhere except where it needs to be. They allow every opinion to enter. They allow every fear to speak. They allow every setback to define them. And without realizing it, they surrender leadership of their life to anything loud enough to get their attention. But when a mind becomes strong, something changes. The person no longer reacts, they respond. They no longer complain, they create. They no longer blame, they build. A strong mind does not beg circumstances to improve. It improves itself and forces circumstances to adjust. People will misunderstand you when your mind becomes strong, not because you are arrogant, but because you are no longer controlled. You are no longer emotionally predictable. You are no longer mentally available for manipulation. You stop explaining yourself unnecessarily. You stop arguing with small thinking. You stop shrinking to make others comfortable. And this unsettles people who are still enslaved by their own limitations. A strong mind is quiet but firm. It does not announce its strength. It demonstrates it. It does not seek validation. It operates with clarity. It does not rush decisions. It commands patience. And patience, when mastered, becomes power. Because when everyone else is panicking, the person with a strong mind is observing. And observation always precedes domination. Your mind was never meant to be a storage room for fear, insecurity, and doubt. It was designed to be a command center. Every thought you allow is either training you to lead or preparing you to surrender. That is why what you think consistently becomes what you experience eventually. Thoughts are not harmless. They are instructions. They are blueprints. They are seeds. And seeds always produce after their own kind. People fail not because they lack talent, but because their thinking is undisciplined. They want success without structure. They want confidence without preparation. They want results without responsibility. But a strong mind understands order. It understands timing. It understands that everything powerful is built deliberately, not emotionally. The moment you decide to strengthen your mind, excuses lose their authority. You stop explaining why you can't and start executing what you must. You stop waiting for motivation and start operating from commitment. You stop asking, what if it fails? And start asking, what must I become to handle success? A strong mind does not fear loneliness. It understands that isolation is sometimes required for elevation. It knows that clarity often comes when noise is removed. That is why growth separates you from people who only knew the old version of you. They miss who you were, but they don't understand who you are becoming. When your mind is strong, rejection does not wound you. It redirects you. Criticism does not destroy you. It refines you. Delay does not discourage you. It develops you. Because strength of mind teaches you that nothing wasted can be used against you if you extract the lesson. You do not rise to the level of your dreams. You fall to the level of your thinking. That is why strengthening the mind is not optional. It is essential. Because the future you desire requires a mindset capable of sustaining it. Success without mental strength becomes pressure. Opportunity without discipline becomes stress. Influence without clarity becomes chaos. People will say you changed, and they will be right. You changed because you stopped allowing fear to make decisions for you. You changed because you stopped negotiating with weakness. You changed because you realized that peace is not found in comfort. It is found in control of self. A strong mind is not loud. It does not need to prove anything. It walks with certainty. It speaks with intention. It acts with precision. And that level of mental command unsettles people who are used to emotional reactions and mental instability. The strongest people in the room are rarely the ones speaking the most. They are the ones thinking the clearest. They are not rushing. They are not panicking. They are not trying to impress. They are preparing to execute. Build a mind so strong that pressure respects you. Build a mind so focused that distractions avoid you. Build a mind so disciplined that fear has no place to stay. Because once your mind is strong, everything else must follow. The mind is the control center of destiny. Every direction your life takes first passed through a thought. Before you ever moved your feet, your mind already agreed to move. Before you ever quit, your mind already gave permission to stop. People think destiny is controlled by luck, by background, by connections, by timing. But destiny answers to one authority first, and that authority is the mind. Look at daily life. Two people wake up to the same alarm, in the same city, under the same sky. One says, "Another hard day, nothing will change." And the other says, "Today I move one step closer." Same morning, same clock. Different destiny being shaped in real time. The difference is not education, money, or opportunity. The difference is mental command. One mind surrendered before the day even began. The other took leadership before the world could speak. Your mind gives instructions to your body every second. If the mind says, "I'm tired," the body obeys. If the mind says, "I can't," the hands drop. If the mind says, "I'm not good enough," the mouth stays silent even when opportunity is calling your name. Most people are not physically weak. They are mentally untrained. They let the mind speak without correction. They let fear talk without interruption. They let doubt give orders without resistance. Think about how people react to problems. One person loses a job and says, "My life is over." Another loses the same job and says, "This is redirection." Same event, different interpretation, different future. The event didn't decide the outcome. The mind did. What you tell yourself in private becomes the blueprint of what you experience in public. Every habit you live with today was once just a thought you entertained. Every discipline you lack started as a thought you ignored. Every confidence you admire in others is the result of a mind that was trained to speak strength instead of surrender. People don't fail suddenly. They fail quietly, thought by thought, compromise by compromise, excuse by excuse. Look at everyday conversations. When pressure comes, some people say, "Why does this always happen to me?" Others say, "What is this teaching me?" One question weakens the mind. The other sharpens it. One turns you into a victim. The other turns you into a student. And students always outgrow their circumstances. The mind is not neutral. If you don't train it, it will train itself based on fear, environment, and past pain. That's why people repeat cycles they swear they hate. They changed locations, but not thinking. They changed friends, but not beliefs. They changed goals, but not internal language. And destiny keeps repeating the same lesson until the mind finally changes its instructions. Daily life proves this. You see someone at the gym who looks unstoppable. What you don't see is the conversation they had with themselves on the morning they didn't feel like going. You see someone calm in chaos. What you don't see is the discipline they built when nobody was watching. Mental strength is built in invisible moments, when no one is clapping, when excuses sound reasonable, when quitting feels justified. Your mind decides what you tolerate, and whatever you tolerate will dominate you. If your mind tolerates procrastination, your destiny will move slowly. If your mind tolerates negativity, your destiny will feel heavy. If your mind tolerates mediocrity, your future will shrink to fit your comfort. Every time you say later, the mind learns delay. Every time you say, I'll try, the mind learns hesitation. Every time you say, that's just how I am, the mind learns limitation. Words are not casual. They are commands. You speak them and the mind builds around them. Strong minds don't wait for motivation. They move because decision was already made. Weak minds wait to feel ready, and readiness never arrives. Life does not reward intention. It responds to execution. And execution is always the product of mental clarity. You can see this in simple daily tasks. The person who plans their day controls their energy. The person who reacts to the day is controlled by it. The person who sets boundaries protects their peace. The person who avoids confrontation lives in quiet frustration. The mind decides whether you lead your life or survive it. Destiny is not some distant event waiting in the future. Destiny is being shaped in your thinking right now, in the thoughts you allow to stay, in the fears you refuse to challenge, in the discipline you postpone. Every thought is a vote, and most people don't realize they are voting against their own future every single day. When the mind becomes disciplined, excuses lose their voice. When the mind becomes focused, distractions lose their grip. When the mind becomes intentional, circumstances lose their authority. You stop reacting emotionally and start responding strategically. You stop asking life for mercy and start building capacity. The most dangerous thing is not failure. It is an untrained mind with potential, because potential without mental discipline becomes frustration. Talent without mental authority becomes insecurity. Vision without mental strength becomes anxiety. Control the mind and direction becomes clear. Strengthen the mind and destiny responds. Train the mind, and the future has no choice but to adjust. Most people think strength comes from how they feel in the moment. They think if they are motivated, they can succeed. They think if they feel confident, they can lead. They think that excitement, passion, or anger can carry them through life. But life doesn't work that way. Emotional energy is fleeting. It changes with the weather, with what someone says to you, with the small setbacks of your day. You wake up inspired and ready, and by noon, a single text or comment can steal that feeling. That is why relying on emotion alone is dangerous. A life built on emotion is a life at the mercy of every circumstance, every opinion, and every interruption. Mental strength, the kind that transforms ordinary people into leaders, does not come from how you feel. It comes from structure. Structure is what keeps you moving when the excitement fades. Structure is what forces action when motivation disappears. Structure is what allows you to perform when fear tries to paralyze you. You see, emotion can start you, but structure sustains you. Emotion is a spark. Structure is the fire. Without structure, the spark dies and the potential inside you never ignites. Look at daily life. The person who gets up at 5 a.m. every day to work on their goals does not wake up feeling motivated every morning. Some mornings they feel tired, weak, annoyed, or even scared. Yet they rise because they have a structure. They have a plan. They have made a commitment to themselves that their day will not be dictated by mood, but by discipline. Their strength is not in the momentary rush of feeling inspired. Their strength is in the system they have built. Structure trains the mind to act whether the heart is willing or not. Think about students who succeed against all odds. They are not always the ones with the most excitement about studying or the ones who feel like learning that day. They are the ones who sit at the desk day after day, following a system. They follow a schedule. They follow principles. They follow processes. Their success does not depend on feeling like doing it. It depends on having a structure that cannot be swayed by emotion. A weak mind waits to feel ready. A strong mind is ready because it created the readiness. Look at athletes. Every championship, every record, every victory was built on 1,000 moments where the athlete did not feel like training. The sprinter who wins gold in the Olympics has woken up at 4 a.m., ran in the freezing cold, and lifted weights when their bodies screamed to stop. Motivation could not carry them through. Passion could not carry them through. Only structure, the discipline of a plan, The system of training, the commitment to consistency, built mental strength strong enough to dominate the competition. Even in business, the leaders who last are not the ones who feel like making decisions every day. They have systems in place. They have routines, processes, and boundaries that make their minds reliable regardless of how chaotic the market becomes. Emotional reactions can destroy companies. Emotional decisions can ruin families. But a structured mind trained to follow principles, to stick to plans, to remain consistent, can achieve results even in storms where others panic. Your emotions are never constant. Life will always have days when excitement dies, when fear rises, when anger flares, when doubt whispers. If your strength depends on these fluctuating feelings, you will fail when you need strength the most. Structure creates a mind that is not at the mercy of what is happening outside or inside. It creates a mind that can act when others freeze. It creates a mind that can lead when everyone else hesitates. Structure does not wait for courage, it commands courage. Structure does not wait for confidence, it produces confidence. Structure does not wait for clarity, it forces clarity. Even look at parents, those who carry families through the toughest times. There are mornings when they are exhausted, stressed, frustrated, or sick, but they still feed their children, still send them to school, still maintain order in the home. That strength is not emotional, it is structural. They have created systems, routines, and standards that the family can rely on, no matter what the heart feels in that moment. Without structure, love alone would fail under the weight of chaos. Structure converts intention into action, chaos into control, and weakness into reliability. Structure also trains the mind to handle pressure. When every task has a method, every challenge has a plan, and every goal has a roadmap, your mind becomes unshakable. You do not react irrationally to setbacks because the mind knows the process. You do not crumble under stress because the mind knows the plan. You do not give up when emotions rise because structure has already decided the next step. A structured mind creates automatic strength independent of moods, doubts, and fears. Look at the people who achieve every day in ordinary life. The doctors who see patients in the middle of the night. The workers who go to jobs they do not love, but do them with precision. The writers who write even when inspiration is missing. Their minds are built on structure, not emotion. They show up, they act, they perform. Their results are proof that mental strength is the product of systems, routines, and consistent practices, not random bursts of enthusiasm. Every time you create habits that serve your goals, every time you follow a plan without waiting for motivation, every time you act even when your heart protests, you are training your mind. You are building mental strength. You are creating a version of yourself that does not collapse under fear, disappointment, or temporary feeling. You are creating a mind that will dominate life, not react to it. The truth is, life will test your emotions every single day. It will try to steal your excitement, kill your motivation, and tempt you to quit. But if your mind is built on structure, you will act anyway. If your strength is built on discipline, you will move anyway. If your power is built on principle, you will succeed anyway. Emotional strength is temporary. Mental strength built on structure is eternal. A focused mind is not easily shaken. It is calm when chaos rises. It is deliberate when others panic. Most people walk through life reacting to whatever storms come their way, moving like leaves in the wind, tossed by circumstances they cannot control. One setback, one criticism, one unexpected event, and their minds scatter, their energy dissipates, and their plans crumble. But the person whose mind is focused becomes a force of nature because the environment may be unstable, but their attention is not. Think about daily life. The student in a crowded classroom who is determined to learn does not allow the chatter, the noise, or the distractions to pull them away. Everyone else is gossiping, scrolling on their phones, waiting for someone to entertain them. But the focused student reads, writes, and studies. The chaos around them does not affect the outcome of their day because their mind is trained to see only the target. That single focus turns ordinary moments into extraordinary results. Look at professionals in high-pressure situations. The surgeon performing a critical operation does not panic when alarms go off, monitors flash red, and the room becomes tense. Their mind is focused on the procedure, on the patient, on the steps that must be executed perfectly. Everything else in the room, the fear, the uncertainty, the tension, becomes irrelevant. Their focus intimidates the environment because chaos has no power over precision. When the mind is centered, even an unstable situation cannot control the outcome. In business, leaders face markets that fluctuate, competitors that challenge, and employees who complain. The unfocused leader reacts to every rumor, every setback, every change. They micromanage, second guess, and lose authority because the environment dictates their behavior. The focused leader, however, is unshaken. They see the trends, plan the response, and act strategically. Their calm in the storm inspires confidence, their clarity intimidates confusion, and their steady hand turns instability into opportunity. Even in personal life, a focused mind makes the difference between success and failure. Think about the parent who is raising children in a household filled with constant interruptions, arguments, and responsibilities. Every distraction could derail their day, yet they maintain composure. They prioritize tasks, follow routines, and remain consistent. The chaos tries to dictate their energy, but their focus pushes the environment to adapt to them. Children notice it, partners notice it, and slowly the energy of the household shifts because the mind refuses to be distracted. People often underestimate the power of focus because they confuse business with productivity. A busy mind reacts to everything, is anxious, stressed, and overwhelmed. A focused mind moves through the same environment with clarity, calm, and command. Take the office worker with multiple deadlines. One person jumps from task to task, answering every message, panicking over every small issue. Another sits down, identifies priorities, executes the most important work first, and ignores the rest until the time is right. At the end of the week, the focused worker has results while the busy worker only has exhaustion. Focus not only dominates the environment, it produces measurable outcomes where scattered energy produces nothing. Even in sports, the athlete in a chaotic stadium with thousands of screaming fans, opponents trying to provoke, and pressure weighing heavily, succeeds because their mind is focused. They block out the noise, the taunts, the distractions, and execute the moves they have trained for thousands of hours. Their calm focus intimidates not just the environment, but the competitors themselves. They do not play emotionally, they play intentionally. Their clarity of mind is a weapon against instability. In everyday interactions, focus makes a person magnetic. When you listen carefully in a world full of people who are distracted, when you act deliberately in a world full of rushed decisions, when you remain calm in a world full of chaos, people notice. Unfocused minds will attempt to pull you into the storm, but a focused mind stands firm. You do not have to fight the environment. Your focus is the force that forces the environment to adjust. Others may try to distract, derail, or destabilize you, but a mind trained in focus will see through it and move on with purpose. A focused mind also creates resilience. When life throws unexpected challenges, the unfocused person panics and loses control. The focused mind sees the problem, evaluates the options, and executes the best course of action. Pressure does not dominate them, it sharpens them. A focused mind does not react emotionally, it responds strategically. That is why great leaders, great athletes, and great achievers do not collapse under stress. They intimidate the very circumstances that would break someone weaker. Even in creative work, the writer, artist, or musician who is focused does not allow distractions to steal their ideas or their energy. The world is filled with notifications, opinions, and constant interruptions, but the focused creator sets boundaries and works in their zone. The mind becomes a sanctuary where inspiration is nurtured, not scattered. Chaos may exist outside, but inside, the mind is steady, producing work that amazes others and commands respect. Daily life is full of people who fail not because the world is against them, but because their attention is scattered. The focused mind turns the same world into an ally. It converts noise into signal, chaos into order, distraction into energy, and instability into advantage. The mind becomes a force that is not easily influenced by emotional storms, peer pressure, or uncertain circumstances. Focus becomes a shield, a weapon, and a magnet all at once. When you cultivate focus, you train your mind to command your environment rather than being commanded by it. You learn to filter distractions, to act with clarity, and to prioritize what truly matters. You become unshakable when others panic, precise when others flounder, and calm when others overact. The world may be unpredictable, full of turbulence and uncertainty, but a focused mind sees clearly, acts decisively, and forces the environment to adapt to its strength. Most people dream of success, but they forget that dreams require preparation. They think that desire alone will open doors, that ambition alone will carry them through, that hope alone will make the impossible possible. But the truth is, the future does not respond to longing, it responds to readiness. You cannot inherit a future you are not prepared to handle. You cannot achieve goals if your mind is not trained for the weight of what you seek. Dreams without mental qualification are like ships without sails, floating aimlessly in the ocean, waiting for storms to decide their course. Look at daily life. A young person sees someone earning a great income and thinks, "I want that." They do not realize that the person earning that income has cultivated the knowledge, discipline, and decision-making capacity necessary to manage it. The money is not random. The opportunity is not luck. It is the result of a mind trained to think at that level, a mind prepared for the responsibility that comes with it. Without the mental qualification, the same opportunity could overwhelm and destroy them. You must become capable before you become entitled. Mental qualification means developing the ability to handle pressure, criticism, and responsibility without collapsing. Take the parent raising children. Every day brings unexpected challenges, arguments, emergencies, decisions that must be made in the moment. The parent who is not mentally prepared reacts impulsively, loses control, and creates chaos. The parent who is mentally qualified sees the same challenges and navigates them with clarity and authority. They have trained their mind to anticipate difficulties, to remain calm under pressure, to make decisions that serve the long-term good rather than short-term comfort. Even in school, students often fail not because they lack intelligence, but because they are not mentally equipped for the discipline required to succeed. The test, the exam, the project, they demand focus, consistency, and patience. Those who train their mind to concentrate, to prioritize, to endure are the ones who excel. The mind becomes the tool that transforms potential into performance. Those who are unprepared allow distractions, peer pressure, and procrastination to dictate their results, while the qualified mind sees obstacles as challenges to be managed rather than excuses to quit. In the world of business, leaders are tested constantly. Decisions made today have consequences tomorrow. The entrepreneur who dreams of leading a company of hundreds cannot operate with the same mindset as a novice. They must cultivate foresight, discipline, and the ability to make strategic decisions under uncertainty. Mental qualification is what allows them to handle growth, to absorb criticism, to manage conflict, and to guide teams through chaos. Without this preparation, opportunity becomes a trap, wealth becomes a burden, and influence becomes a source of stress rather than a tool for impact. Even in athletics, the greatest champions train their minds before they compete. The sprinter who dreams of breaking a record practices focus, endurance, and resilience long before stepping on the track. The mind is prepared for the pain, the pressure, and the distraction that will inevitably arise. A physically strong body without a mentally prepared mind falters under pressure. Mental qualification creates the ability to stay composed, make precise decisions, and perform at peak levels when it matters most. Your mind also determines how you handle relationships. You cannot give what you do not possess mentally. If your mind is untrained in patience, empathy, and understanding, your relationships will crumble when tested. If your mind is unprepared for compromise and negotiation, conflict will destroy bonds that could otherwise grow and prosper. Becoming mentally qualified is not only about achieving wealth, status, or recognition. It is about developing the capacity to manage every aspect of life without being overwhelmed by circumstances, emotions, or the unexpected. Even ordinary life demands preparation. A person dreaming of financial independence must first cultivate budgeting skills, planning skills, and resilience against setbacks. A person dreaming of leadership must first develop discipline, communication, and decision-making abilities. Mental qualification is about creating a version of yourself that can handle more than the average person can handle. It is about building a mind that is strong enough to carry responsibility, smart enough to make decisions under pressure, and disciplined enough to endure challenges without surrendering. Daily examples show this constantly. A young professional offered a promotion may feel excited until they realize the increased workload, the accountability, and the scrutiny that comes with it. Without mental preparation, the opportunity becomes overwhelming, the responsibilities feel heavier than they imagined, and the promotion may fail to serve them. But the professional who has cultivated patience, strategic thinking, and emotional resilience is ready. They are capable. They are mentally qualified to step into the future they desire, and their mind allows them to navigate complexity rather than be crushed by it. Mental qualification is cultivated in invisible moments. It is in the discipline to study when the body wants rest, in the patience to wait when the world demands immediate results, in the courage to persist when fear whispers to quit, and in the focus to act when distractions tempt you away. It is in practicing responsibility when no one is watching, making decisions when there is no immediate reward, and controlling emotions when the environment pushes for chaos. These daily choices build a mind capable of holding, managing, and multiplying the opportunities life presents. If you want the future you dream of, your mind must be ready. Desire without mental preparation is fragile. Ambition without readiness is dangerous. Opportunity without qualification is wasted. You cannot rush mental strength. You cannot shortcut wisdom. You cannot borrow preparation from someone else. The future you want is not waiting for your emotions or luck to align. It responds only to the mind capable of receiving it, handling it, and leading it toward greatness. Now that you understand the power of the mind, the discipline of focus, the necessity of structure, and the importance of being mentally qualified for the life you want, it is time to confront the reality that will define your future. Life does not wait. Opportunities do not pause. Time does not rewind. Every second that passes is a vote cast for the version of you that you are creating right now. And here is the truth that most people refuse to face. The world does not give permission to anyone. It does not honor intentions, wishes, or dreams without action. It honors preparation, resilience, and strength of mind. Think about the person who dreams of owning a business. They imagine the freedom, the wealth, the influence. They talk about it, they post about it, they hope for it. But when the challenges arrive, the phone calls come, the bills pile up, and the employees complain, they collapse. They were never prepared mentally for the responsibility they wanted to claim. On the other hand, the entrepreneur who succeeds has done the hard work before the opportunity appeared. They have trained their mind to handle stress, to think strategically, to endure criticism, to act decisively under uncertainty. They have anticipated the storms that will come and prepared their mind to sail through them. That is the difference between dreaming and achieving. Even in everyday life, mental readiness separates the ordinary from the extraordinary. The student who wants top grades does not only study when they feel like it. They study when they are tired, distracted, or discouraged. They train their mind to absorb knowledge even when the environment is chaotic. They do not allow excuses to dictate performance. They have developed the ability to focus, to prioritize, and to persist. This is mental qualification. This is what it means to create a mind that is ready for the future before it arrives. Consider athletes who dominate the world stage. The champion does not win because they are lucky. They do not win because they feel motivated every day. They win because their mind has been trained to endure the pain, the criticism, the early mornings, the late nights, and the relentless pressure of competition. When everyone else is tired, discouraged, or distracted, they continue with precision. Every repetition, every practice, every moment of preparation compounds into mental strength that allows them to perform under conditions where others collapse. Their mind has been built long before the victory. That is the principle you must understand. Success is created first in the mind, then in action, then in reality. Even in relationships, the mentally prepared person stands out. They know that love, respect, and trust require more than feelings. Feelings are unpredictable. Emotions are fleeting. But the disciplined, qualified mind knows how to communicate, to listen, to forgive, and to act with integrity even when the heart is tired or frustrated. They anticipate challenges, they plan their actions, they control their reactions. They are the ones who build families that last, partnerships that thrive, and communities that are stable because they have the mental strength to endure the tests that would break others. Your mind will be tested every day in ways both obvious and invisible. There will be moments when fear whispers that you cannot continue. There will be moments when doubt screams that you are not enough. There will be moments when the world seems to conspire against you. And in these moments, the person with a weak mind will surrender. The person with a mind built on structure, focus, and qualification will act. They will move forward even when no one cheers. They will make decisions even when no one understands. They will take responsibility even when excuses abound. Your mind is your most powerful weapon, and every day it must be sharpened, trained, and fortified. Look at everyday heroes around you. The single parent working multiple jobs does not have the luxury of motivation. They have the structure of discipline. The teacher managing a classroom of chaos does not rely on emotional highs. They rely on a mental training to maintain authority and clarity. The doctor facing emergencies does not wait for inspiration. They act with a mind conditioned for precision and focus. These examples are not extraordinary because of luck or talent. They are extraordinary because their minds have been prepared to respond to life, to lead, and to excel under pressure. Your environment will always test you, but a qualified mind is stronger than any external circumstance. The naysayers, the critics, the doters, they do not have power over you unless you give it to them. The storms, the failures, the setbacks, they do not have power over you unless your mind allows them to. You must build a mind that can absorb pressure without bending, a mind that can face adversity without fear, a mind that can act with clarity when confusion surrounds you. That is what it means to be truly strong. Even in financial matters, the principle holds. The person who desires wealth must first become capable of handling it. Without mental preparation, sudden financial gain becomes a curse rather than a blessing. Impulsive decisions, emotional spending, poor judgment, all of these destroy what could have been a legacy. But the person who has trained their mind to handle abundance, to make disciplined decisions, to plan for the future, to think long-term, will not only acquire wealth, they will sustain it, multiply it, and use it to create impact. Your mind determines your ability to receive, manage, and grow whatever life offers. Your mind also determines your ability to influence and inspire others. The person who is mentally strong does not react to chaos. They respond with calm authority. They do not speak from impulse. They speak with intention. They do not lead based on popularity. They lead based on principle. And when people see someone operating with clarity, purpose, and mental command, they are drawn to that energy, inspired by it, and motivated to follow it. Influence is not about volume. It is about precision. Leadership is not about position. It is about mental preparation. Every challenge you face is an opportunity to train your mind further. Every setback is an invitation to grow stronger. Every moment of discomfort is a chance to condition your thinking. The life you desire is not waiting for you to be lucky, it is waiting for you to be ready. You cannot skip the process, you cannot cheat the preparation, and you cannot borrow someone else's readiness. You must become mentally qualified in every way, emotionally, strategically, physically, and morally, for the future you wish to claim. Even the small daily actions compound. Waking up early, prioritizing tasks, following routines, facing fears, embracing responsibility. These build a mind capable of extraordinary achievements. The untrained mind sees these tasks as mundane. The prepared mind sees them as investments. Every choice you make, every decision you take, every challenge you face is a brick in the foundation of your mental strength. And when that foundation is solid, no storm, no criticism, no distraction, no failure can shake the life you are building. The people who succeed are not the ones who have the easiest paths. They are the ones who have cultivated the strongest minds. They have structured their thoughts, disciplined their habits, focused their attention, and prepared themselves for responsibility. They have become capable of receiving more than most people can imagine because their minds have been built long before life demanded it. Every opportunity they seize is a reflection of their preparation. Every victory is a testament to their discipline. Every challenge is a chance to display the strength of their mind